Shrutismriti Alayam Karunalaya Namami Bhagavadpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavitvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We just started the 18th chapter last class. So the 18th chapter, so we were discussing about the background of the 18th chapter. So 18th chapter starts with a question by Arjuna. So he is asking about the difference in meaning of the words sannyasa and tyaga. So the question is, sannyasasya mahabaho tatvam-ichhami veditum Tyagasya cha hrishikesha prithakkeshi nishudana. He Mahabaho, sannyasasya tattvam veditum ichhami. I desire to know the real meaning of the word sannyasa. Tyagasya cha prithak. He hrishikesha, he keshi nishudana. And I also desire to know the meaning of the word tyaga and how it is distinct from the word sannyasa. So that is the question. So the reason for this question is because these two words have similar meanings. So they could be used interchangeably. Sannyasa and tyaga could be used interchangeably. And sometimes they are also in the Bhagavad Gita. So sannyasa and tyaga. But largely, as I was explaining, sannyasa is used in the sense of giving up all karma formally. And tyaga is used in the sense of karma phala tyaga for a karma yogi. So you are in a life of activity, you are still in a life of activity, not yet ready to take the step towards sannyasa. Then how do you prepare yourself? You do karma with Ishwararpana Buddhi. So you dedicate the result of your activity to Ishvara and then accept whatever comes out of the karma. So that is how the word tyaga is used largely in the Bhagavad Gita. And again, so this is not very clear to Arjuna. So Lord Krishna now has to explain the difference. But this question is also an indirectly alluding to what Krishna has been asking about from the earlier chapters. Whether I should take sannyasa or I should live a life of karma yoga. So he asked in the 3rd chapter, he asked in the 5th chapter, and so he's asking again now. So because he is not very sure. So what is it that he should do at this point in time? So, but this question is also valid. So Lord Krishna starts answering the question from the second verse. He says, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kaveyo viduhu sarva karma phalatyagam prahustyagam vichakshana. So he's saying exactly that. So he says, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. So giving up all kamya karma is called sannyasa. And sarva karma phalatyagam. So Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Prasada Buddhi. So that is called Tyaga. And again here, sannyasa, here we are talking only about Vividisha sannyasa, as I said in the last class. So sannyasa is of two varieties. It could either be Vidvat sannyasa or Vividisha sannyasa. So Vidvat sannyasa is Sarvakarma sannyasa that happens with Jnana. So we are not even considering that person like a Yajnavalkya. So he who gives up all karma purely for the sake of nididhyasana already has the jnanam, the Shravana Manana is adequately completed. So that would be Vidvat Sannyasa. Here we are going to talk about only about, or talk about mainly Vividisha Sannyasa, which is a lifestyle, a certain lifestyle, conducive for the pursuit, conducive for the study of the pramana. So that is Vividisha Sannyasa. So this Vividisha Sannyasa alone is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita when largely. So when Lord Krishna talks about sannyasa, because Vidvat sannyasi we need not talk about. There is no reason because that person knows what he has to do. So why we should talk about that person? That person is clear. So there is no doubt, there is no confusion in the mind of that person. So we are only talking about Vividisha Sannyasa and Karma Yoga because that is where the confusion is for most people. Whether I should give up karma or I should continue to do karma. So that is where the confusion is. So only where the confusion is, we have to resolve it. When there is no confusion, there is no need for any resolution as far as the Vidvat Sannyasi is concerned. So here, that is what he says, Kamyanam. So Kamyanam Karmanam. So karma also, as I said, it is of, in a Vedic context, karma is of five varieties. So Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, Kamya karma, and then Nishiddha karma or Pratisheda karma and Prayaschitta karma. So these are the five types of karma. So Kamya karma are activities which are done for the sake of some result that we intend to get. So satisfying for some desire, fulfilling some desire. So that is the meaning of Kamya karma. Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, even though they are not done with any specific motive, still because it is a karma, it will necessarily give some result. Even if it is not done as kamya, it will necessarily give a result because karma is avarsham bhavi. So it will necessarily, any activity done, it will necessarily give a result whether I want it or not. So the attitude is only from my side, whether I'm interested, whether I'm desperate for the result or I insulate myself from that desperation. That is the choice that I make. But still, the action itself will, every action will necessarily give some result or the other. So here, sannyasa as a lifestyle, you give up all nitya karma, naimittika karma, kamya karma, everything you give up formally. So nitya karma like sandhya vandana. So every day, some puja, some prayer. So that is a nitya karma. And then naimittika karma, in a Vedic context, you do it on specific days. So like Shraddha or Tarpanam, so that kind of karma you do on specific days. And then Kamya, definitely you have to give up. So even for a karma yogi, it is better to give up Kamya slowly. So reduce Kamya as much as possible. Even though one does not take Vividisha Sannyasa. When one wants to remain a karma yogi, then the amount of Kamya karma done has to be reduced progressively. You cannot say, I will have lot of karma, but still I'm a karma yogi. The person is not a karma yogi. I'm doing it with Ishwara Arpana Buddhi. When there is no intention of reducing kamya karma, then that does not qualify to be called as karma yoga. That is only fooling oneself as um, I mean, considering to consider oneself as a karma yogi. In the beginning, there may be some karma here and there. It will be there because no one starts as a perfect seeker. So as a perfect mumukshu, no one starts. But the intention at least should be to reduce karma done as kamya slowly as much as possible. And then restrict oneself to nitya naimittika. Nishiddha, definitely you are giving up. So whatever is prohibited, whatever actions are not allowed by the Shastra, that you definitely give up. And Prayaschitta also, as a karma yogi, you do not, you lose interest slowly in Prayaschitta. Because Prayaschitta is done out of fear of facing some karma phala of the past. So as a karma yogi, you strengthen your mind in such a way that whatever I have to face, I will face cheerfully without complaint. So Prayaschitta also is given up. So Kamya is given up. And Nitya Naimittika also given up. Nitya Naimittika, as I said, it produces some result. The result is in the form of something that is experienced after death. So going to Swarga, etc. And a lot of Vedic rituals, the prerequisite for a lot of Vedic rituals is Nitya Naimittika, like Sandhya Vandana, Agnihotradi. So that is the prerequisite. So without doing that, you are not even eligible to do the bigger rituals. So it produces some result, even though it is not something that I deliberately intend. So or deliberately seek. So this is what Lord Krishna said in the second verse. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kaveyo viduhu. Kavayaha kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam viduhu. So they know giving up of kama karma as sannyasa. Again, this is vividisha sannyasa. Okay, because this section, at least this question can be very confusing. That is why I'm repeating it again and again. So what is the need for this question? So we can just gloss over this, but we don't want to gloss over this. So we want to really understand why Arjuna is asking this question. This is a meaningful question. So definitely a meaningful question. And a very um, question from someone who has understood what has been said so far. So then, sarva karma tyagam, prahustyagam vichakshana. So vichakshana. So people who are in the know. So people who really know what it is all about. So they say karma phala tyagam is tyaga. So tyaga means karma phala tyaga. So like some places, karma means karma phala. So the word karma is omitted. So when phala is said, then it means karma phala. And when karma is said, it means karma phala. So then we will continue. So Lord Krishna is continuing. Verse number 3. त्याज्यं दोषवदित्येके कर्म प्राहुर्मनीषिणः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यमिति चापरे. So he is presenting some contention of certain people, some opinion people have. So he says, doshavat iti karma doshavat iti doshavat tyajyam iti eke prahuhu. Doshavat karma tyajyam iti prahuhu eke manishena. So some people contend that karma is inherently defective. So it has to be given up. So any karma, the fact is that it is inherently defective. There is no perfect karma. So that is the truth. So you can never do something that is perfect. Do any activity that is perfect. There will always be some defect or the other. Like you will incur some papa. Anything done with the noblest intention, with the best of intentions, still it will not be perfect. There will be some defect or the other. Either voluntarily committed or involuntarily committed. So like when you are cooking something, so it may be for feeding someone, not even for yourself, you are feeding someone else. But when you are cooking, inevitably you are killing some germs. So any himsa, it incurs some papa, little. So for that you cannot stop eating. So you have to eat. If I don't eat, so then the question cannot be what if I order online, order on Swiggy or Zomato. So still you are making someone commit that papa, so you will also have a share of the papa that person, that the person who's cooking is committing. Okay, so there is always ordering online is also karma. So someone else does, so you have a share if you are enjoying it. You are enjoying the result. So, so there is some defect in all karma. So no karma is perfect. So some people say that because there is always some defect, why do karma at all? Why don't you just junk karma? So trash it. So take sannyasa. So sannyasa means you can just avoid doing all kinds of karma. So is that an option? So that may be that looks like a sounds like a very nice option. So sounds like a very comfortable and a good option. This is what some people say. So Lord Krishna is just presenting a contention. He's going to answer the question. So is it like that? Am I allowed to do that? Is it good for me? He will answer in the next verses. So then next line he says, Yajna dana tapak karma natyajyam iti chapare. Some people say just stop all activity. Just run away, sit idle. Sit quiet without doing karma, then you will make it because you're not incurring any karma. But there is another set of people who say yajna dana tapak karma, this karma, which we saw in the 17th chapter also. So the classification. So into sattva, rajas, tamas. So yajna dana tapak karma natyajyam iti apare prahu. So others say that this yajna, so prayer, ritual, and dana, so sharing, and then giving away your wealth to other people or doing charity. So that can never be stopped. Yajna, dana, tapas, also austerity. Tapas is also a karma. So any kind of penance, any kind of austerity, discipline, that is also a karma. So tapas, and then other regular activity, other religious activity also. So yajna dana tapak karma na tyajyam iti cha apare pra. Some people say you give up everything. Some people say that you don't give up everything, but just retain these because these are important. So that is the contention. So two groups, two contentions he is talking about. He will give the answer. So now he is going to say, now let you listen to what I think about these two contentions. So whether I agree with the first set of people or I agree with the second set of people. So in the verse number 3, first line is the first set of people who want to give up all karma, run away. Like Arjuna wants to, feels like, not wants to, feels like. He says, so this terrible karma is something that is best avoided. So that's what he feels like. So so he says in verse number 4, we will look at it. Read that. Nishchayam shraname tatra tyage bharata sattama त्यागो हि पुरुष व्याघ्र त्रिविध संप्रकीर्तितः. हे भरत सप्तमा. So he is using lot of praises or calling Arjuna in different ways which glorify or which throw light on the kind of person that Arjuna is. So Bharata Saptama. So one who is the wisest in the whole Bharata Vamsha. Bharata's lineage. So they all belong to the lineage of Bharata. In fact, in the Adi Parva, the first section of the Mahabharata, it starts from even before Bharata, all the rishis and the lineage, and then Bharata. So talks about Bharata. There is the story of Bharata also. And then later Shakuntala, Dushyanta, etc. So these people belong to that lineage. No, Shakuntala, Dushyanta. So the Shakuntala's son is Bharata. So that lineage, they belong to that. So he is. It's a very noble lineage. So even and all the people are all stalwarts in that lineage. And even among those stalwarts, he's saying, you are the greatest among all of them. So Bharata Saptama. That's why he chooses to teach Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Because it is Lord Krishna. So he won't teach any Tom, Dick, and Harry. He will not spend so much time teaching. So if he's teaching Arjuna, then he should really be worthy of the teaching. So because some people, they, they, they tend to make fun of Arjuna. Why are you asking the same question again and again? So this is like you already asked the question whether I should take sannyasa, whether I should do karma yoga. Lord Krishna has answered it. I mean, are you so dull that you have not got the answer? He is not actually. If we think he is dull, then we are. So because Lord Krishna would not be answering if he thought it was a dull question and it was an unnecessary question. So he is calling him Bharata Saptama. So Nishchayam Shruname. So Tatra Tyage Shrinu Me Nishchayam. So my clear opinion, my clear choice, or my clear idea in terms of what is Tyaga. So with regard to Tyaga, what is my idea? Tyagaha hi purusha vyagra trividha samprakirtitaha. He purusha vyagra. So one who is vyagra means one who is a tiger among men. So one who is a tiger means one who is so majestic. So here it is in the sense of being majestic. So when Arjuna comes, then all eyes turn towards Arjuna. So that's why he's called the Purusha Vyagra. When a tiger comes, then you look at the tiger. You don't look at all the other animals. Your eyes go only towards the tiger, not to anything else. So like in a movie, some actors when they occupy the scene, then you tend to look only at that person, not at anyone else. So your eyes are just focused on that person. So locked into that person. So that is the screen presence. So if it is Bollywood, then if it is Amitabh Bachchan, you tend to look at Amitabh Bachchan. He has that kind of screen presence. So, or if it is Hollywood, so then whether it's a Tom Cruise or so so Morgan Freeman, so they have that kind of a screen presence. So Arjuna has that kind of personality. So one who would capture the attention. See, why I'm saying this is because he's calling him Purusha Vyagra. So the words are not used loosely because He's really a tiger among men. So he has that kind of magnetic personality. So that is why he's called, Lord Krishna calls him Purusha Vyaghra. In fact, even Draupadi was won by Arjuna only. Because Kunti said, you share it among yourself, then she became the wife of all of them. So, but he is the was the most sought after person in that era. So, Tyagaha, he Purusha Vyaghra, Tyagaha, Trividhaha Samprakirtitaha. Tyaga is classified into three varieties. He's talking about Tyaga. First, he takes up Tyaga and then he classifies it into three varieties. So people have a fascination for this number three. Everything is divided into three. The gunas are three, and all classifications are threefold only. So they have a fascination for this three. So three and multiples of three. So sometimes nine. So nine is also an auspicious sacred number. So that is how it is classified. Or three has some unique quality about it. So everything falls into three categories. So whatever it is. So verse number 5. So these two verses, he is just setting up the context of the discussion. So verse number 3 and 4. So two viewpoints or two contentions. So one is completely give up, other is, so retain these four, yajna, dana, tapa, karma. And then next, he says that Tyaga is of three varieties. And in the next verse, for verse number 5, he's going to give up. I mean, he's going to tell us which of the two opinions he agrees with, which of the two contentions he agrees with. Verse number 5. Yajnadana karma atyajyam karyameva tat yajnodānantapascaiva pavanani manishinam. So yajna dana tapa karma na tyajyam karyameva tat. So he says, I don't agree with the first contention. So those people said, Tyajyam doshavadyake karma prahur manishina. All karma have to be dropped off like a hot potato. That's what they contended. So because it is so hot, you cannot hold it. So that like a hot potato, if you just try picking it up and then just drop it like that. So Lord Krishna says, I don't think that's right. That's not correct. You cannot drop it off like a hot potato. So because he says, Hey Bharata no. Yajna dana tapak karma na tyajyam karyameva tat. So very clearly, yajna, dana, tapas and karma. So it is desirable that you don't give up. See, because this yajna, dana, tapak karma, even though all karma is riddled with some defect or the other, has some defect or the other. But yajna, dana, tapak karma, it has the capacity to give you chitta shuddhi. It has the capacity to purify. And when you do yajna dana tapa karma with a certain attitude, with the attitude of karma yoga, then the papa becomes insignificant. So you accumulate punya which gets converted into chitta shuddhi, and that is helpful for preparing oneself for this knowledge. Because without chitta shuddhi, you will hit a wall very soon. Because it will appear like, what am I doing? I don't seem to be going anywhere. So I seem to be spending so much time studying this. Even though there is some transformation, some change in attitude that is happening. But then at some point, one will feel that it is too slow or it is not very significant. So that's what one will start feeling. So that chitta shuddhi when one has, then it comes alive. So it becomes you see the progress and you see the transformation happening. So you look at what you were before you started this pursuit, and then you look at yourself now. Then you will see the transformation. So there is no connection in how I was looking at myself and the world around me before I started this. Now I am that much happier for having made this transformation. So having worked on this transformation. So that is what keeps you motivated. That is what keeps you going. Because this is not something that is done purely out of blind faith. Because that is what my ancestors did. That is what I'm doing. So that would be blind faith. In the beginning, you may start like that. So you may start with trust. That kind of trust is good also. But then one should not stop with that. So you see the transformation, then that's what motivates you to do more. So for that, for seeing the transformation, one needs the Chitta Shuddhi. Without Chitta Shuddhi, the transformation cannot be seen tangibly. So he says then that uh, that is catalyzed, that Chitta Shuddhi gets catalyzed by these four activities, Yajna, Dana, Tapas, and Karma. So, so whether it is yajna, ritual, or some charity, or some religious discipline, or some other activity. So you cannot stop that. Just stop kamya karma and then continue to do this, so you will get chitta shuddhi. So in the next line, he says, Yajño danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. So these are like purifiers, pavanani. So they give you purification. So whatever, so technically we also call it pratibandhaka nivritti. So this giving up of the obstacles that are preventing me from owning up this knowledge. So the knowledge is there, Shravanam, you have done. So the knowledge is there, but it is not owned up. So for owning up, you need that chitta shuddhi. So these activities give you. See, some people, what they conclude is, okay, Lord Krishna says these have to be given up, these have to be continued. So it is good. But then they decide to, I will work on Chitta Shuddhi and I will come back to Shravanam later. So that is again not a good idea. Because Shravanam also has to happen along with these purifying activities, purifying acts. So Yajna, Dana, Tapak, Karma along with Shravanam. So Shravanam reinforces the knowledge. So it gives you that confirmed knowledge, steady knowledge. And this removes all the obstacles. So pratibandhas. So they help each other. So Shravanam helps pratibandha nivriti also with knowledge. And these also contribute towards Siddha Shuddhi. So both of them contribute. So they have to be done simultaneously, not one to the exclusion of the other. Because many times people, they say also, no, I'm not ready for this knowledge. So I will just do karma yoga and I will come to this knowledge later. So that is not a good idea. Even for having this conviction, Shravanam is necessary. So the conviction that I am on the right path, I am going in this direction. So the clarity doesn't come with Shravanam. I mean, come without Shravanam. So I need that clarity, I need that focus, I need that motivation, and along with that, these activities also contribute. So this is how both of them, they uh, they contribute. So pavanani, so they are purifiers. And manishinam means sometimes it is used in the sense of a person who is already wise. Here it is used in the sense of a viveki, because there is this Manisha Panchakam. The Manisha Panchakam, Shankaracharya says, Guru Rityesha Manisha Mani. So there it is used in the sense of a wise person. But here it is in the sense of a discriminating person who is already wise to a certain extent. Not completely wise, has some clarity. So that is Manishinam. For those who are capable of discriminating, who are capable of having this Viveka. So this is very purifying. So these activities are purifying, give Chitta Shuddhi. So then we'll move to the next verse. So he has conveyed his clear opinion as to whether this karma has to be completely given up or this need to be continued. The answer is given. This should not be given up. See, now we are talking only about Tyaga, okay? Karma Palatyaga. Later, Lord Krishna himself will talk about sannyasa, Vividisha sannyasa. So he will classify it into very shortly. So he will classify it into different categories, and then he will also say what kind of attitude or mindset is ideal for sannyasa. Again, sannyasa is Vividisha sannyasa, so a lifestyle. So verse number 6, he says, Etannyapitu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम्. सो एतानि अपि तु कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा फलानि च. हे पार्थ, तु एतानि कर्माणि अपि संगम फलानि च त्यक्त्वा कर्तव्यानि इति मे निश्चितं मतम्. So these activities also have to be performed without any attachment for the result, not looking primarily at the result. So yajna, religious ritual, can also be done with the desperation for getting a certain result, whether it is in this lifetime or a later lifetime. So here he says you do this activities, dana. Dana also he will talk about. So you can do it with a certain motive, motivated dana. So these actions cannot be motivated. It cannot be motivated religious ritual. It cannot be motivated dana. It cannot be motivated tapas. It cannot be motivated other activity, karma. So it is done. But Chitta Shuddhi is not considered motivation. Okay, so like in judiciary. So if there is a crime, so if it is done, um, if it is done because of other reasons, then the punishment is less. If it is motivated, then the punishment is more. So deliberately motivated murder or something like that. So that is in the extreme case. Here also, he says it should be done, but it should not be motivated. If it is motivated, then it is not karma yoga. It is just karma. But if it is not motivated, that is done only for Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi is not motivation again. If it is done only for Chitta Shuddhi, then it is purifying. It can be purifying. If it is motivated, it won't be purifying. So you will remain in samsara. Still, it will give a result. Sometimes it may be intended result. Sometimes it may not be intended. But you will remain in samsara. But the advantage of doing it without motivation is that you are not desperate. You are insulating yourself from the undesirable result. But at the same time, the result of the karma will necessarily come to you. It's a double benefit. You will get the result, which you will get even if you are desperate for it. But if you are not desperate for it, you will get the result and you will get Chitta Shuddhi also. See, this is a simple thing. People don't think in this manner. Because if I do karma yoga, it is not like I won't get the result. I will get the result. Because karma is avashyam bhav. But at the same time, I will get Chitta Shuddhi also. But the catch is, I should not, it is purely in terms of my intention. So I cannot fool myself. I want the intention, but I want the result. But outwardly, I will say I don't want it. That won't work. So from within, you should really not be desperate. So your mind will know. You cannot cheat your mind. You cannot cheat the universal order. You cannot cheat. So from deep within, you should really be interested only in Chitta Shuddhi. Then you will get the result also and you will get Chitta Shuddhi also. So I need to be sincere and truthful to myself. If I'm not, then it won't work. So then if there should be suffering, if I'm not sincere, then if there will be suffering if it is meant to be. So here he says, He Partha, etani karmani api sangam phalani cha tyaktva kartavyani. So without attachment and without the desperation for the result, these have to be necessarily performed. This cannot be foregone. This cannot be avoided for a karma yogi. Kartavyani iti nishchitam matam uttamam. So they are to be necessarily done. Kartavya means there is no option. So there is no alternative. So kartavyani, they have to be necessarily done. Because you need chitta shuddhi. Without chitta shuddhi, the jnanam cannot be owned up. So if the jnanam has to be owned up, for chitta shuddhi, you have to necessarily all of this. So the answer is very clear. So you cannot, out of the two contentions, the latter one is what is desirable, is what is correct. You cannot drop it off like a hot potato because it's very easy to drop it off. It can be done out of laziness also, which Lord Krishna will say. So then he says about the first contention. He gives the answer why that is not okay, why that is not all right. So just giving up all karma, dropping it off like a hot potato, why that is not okay. So he gives the answer in verse number 7. Niyatasya tu sannyasah कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहात् तस्य परित्यागः तामसः परिकीर्तितः. So niyatasya tu sannyasaha tu karmanah sannyasaha na upapadyate. Niyatasya karmanah sannyasaha na upapadyate. So just dropping it off like a hot potato is not all right. Na upapadyate is not done. This that's just not done. So when you say it's not done, then it is not correct. So niyatasya karmanah sannyasaha na upapadyate. Mohat tasya parityagaha tamasah parikirtitah. So he says if you do it, then it is actually tamasa. It is considered tamasa. So you're doing it out of laziness. So you're not doing it out of understanding. You're just too much trouble. This karma is too much trouble. So I will just sit quiet. So that is tamasa. Some people come to that conclusion also sometimes. After listening to, after doing some shravana, that is when shravana is done, not done properly, then one may come to the conclusion. So let me just sit back and relax, enjoy. Like they say, you just sit back, like a movie, sit back, relax and enjoy. Have a popcorn. So, and then enjoy the fun. So like that. So I will just sit back and relax. So you may be able to do that now, but you will come back. So there will be punarjanma, there will be punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jataresha. You can never fool karma. Whatever I may fool in my lifetime, I may be able to fool in my lifetime. I can never fool my own karma. That is impossible. Because Bhagavan Karma Pala Data is too smart. So you can never fool. If it is there, it is there. If I'm really sincere, truthful, then I can make it. So we may be able to fool the law, the justice system. So in our place of residence, we may be able to fool the law sometimes. So this relative law, we may be able to get away with it. But this law of karma, I can never get away from the law of karma. I can never fool it. So I have to do all of that's why Lord Krishna is taking painstaking efforts. So he's explaining painstakingly so that I'm clear about what I have to do. So mohat tasya parityagaha. Because of delusion, because uh, just dropping it away because of laziness or lethargy, or thinking it is too much trouble. So giving it away is considered tamasa. Tamasa means it is the worst. So as we saw in the last chapter also, sattvika is the best. So anything that is done that that classifies as sattvika, that is best. Rajasa, in between, neither this way nor that way. Tamasa is the lowest, most inferior. So tamasaha parikirtitaha. So it is called tamasika. So one should never give up. Give up karma, drop it off like a hot potato without without inquiring into it, without understanding properly, without knowing the implications of giving up, or what I would lose if I just give up. Because this yajna, dana, tapa, karma, even though they are karma, they are useful for chitta shuddhi. There is no other means for chitta shuddhi. So they are like helpful aids in the pursuit of chitta shuddhi, jnana. So they are to be used properly. So giving them up, throwing them away without proper understanding would be a disaster. So that would be disastrous. So that's what he says. We'll stop here and continue. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om